Hello, I'm Tom Legg. I'm the Benchmarking Development Manager at Business in the Community. You're listening to a pre-recorded webinar that explains all about the diversity benchmarks in 2012. Today we're going to talk about the new diversity benchmarks, what they are they for, how do they work, when do they open, and how do you enter and complete them. A bit of history. For over 10 years we ran two separate benchmarking processes looking at ethnicity and gender, but after 12 months of redevelopment in which we consulted over 70 of our members, many in-house experts and various external subject matter experts, our new benchmarking model and question sets are ready. The new benchmarks are a departure from our previous tools in both process, focus, emphasis and the ease with which they can be completed. We did all of this so that our benchmarks maintain their relevance, continue to challenge participants and act as a platform for valuable feedback and support. Our benchmarks have always been an important part of the service we offer to our members, and we are now extending part of the new benchmarks to non-members at no charge. I will explain the differences between what is available to members and non-members as we go through the webinar.
The benchmarks are a systematic way to assess your diversity, equality and inclusion performance, and to compare that performance against other organisations, both within your sector and across the wider cohort of participants. There are strong arguments as to why you should do this. For peer comparison, so that you understand how you compare to competitors and customers. When it comes to diversity, this is important for a range of business reasons: attracting the best talent from all areas of society, providing the best service to your customers, clients, service users and consumers, and demonstrating your diversity credentials when bidding for contracts. Stay ahead of the competition by understanding your strengths and weaknesses compared to others, or take steps to catch up. Engage internal stakeholders. Identify strengths which validate your existing efforts and identify gaps to make the case for doing more. Having an independent third party look at your business through a diversity lens can be a valuable way of getting others in your organisation to see the value of your existing diversity and inclusion work. Use the benchmarking process to your advantage. Enhance your reputation. Receive a banding of platinum, gold, silver or bronze, which tells potential employees and customers that you are committed to diversity and inclusion. We do also have awards processes that recognise specific achievements in gender and race equality, but the benchmarking is a holistic look at your diversity and inclusion work and progress. Promote this internally and externally to your advantage. We encourage all organisations to disclose their banding, although this is entirely up to you. Public recognition for leaders. The top 10 private sector and top 10 public sector organisations for each benchmark will be publicised on our website and through PR and social media. This is to recognise the truly leading edge companies. And finally, action planning and feedback. A detailed feedback report and 2-hour follow-up meeting will help you plan for future improvement in your diversity strategy and initiatives. We will present your results to you in a tailored feedback meeting. In the past, this feedback has been presented to various groups and organisations, such as diversity networks, diversity and inclusion teams, and company boards. We are flexible in our approach and will structure the meetings appropriately.
I will explain how our benchmarking process works now. It now consists of 2 parts, each with a distinct focus. Part 1 looks at real performance on a range of metrics such as the percentage of BME hires and the rate of return from maternity leave. This new focus is in response to feedback from members and our own realisation that the benchmark should move away from a heavy reliance on policy and practice to a more balanced view, which also takes into account impacts. So, the new benchmarks explicitly focus on collecting and benchmarking organisations against a range of impact measurements. Part 1 is free for members and non-members alike to enter. This is both a framework for what to measure and a comparison exercise which exists in tandem with how you've achieved this success. This brings me on to Part 2, the Input Survey. This is a framework for your strategic approach to diversity and inclusion and a detailed look at your culture. It is really the what to do piece that complements the what to measure parts. It is free for members to complete, but there is a cost for non-members to participate in it. This is a systematic evaluation of your policies, practices and initiatives which have a bearing on diversity, equality and inclusion in your organisation. Participating in Parts 1 and 2 constitutes entry into the full diversity benchmark. So Part 1, Impacts, looks at the key metrics. This is for members and non-members. It only asks for the data and so consists of 24 questions. The data is typically asked to be disaggregated by gender and ethnicity. A qualifying question at the beginning lets us know your intentions regarding protected characteristics. The main areas in the survey are workforce metrics, so boards, number of senior people by protected characteristic, recruitment metrics, so applications, shortlists, hires, and promotion rates amongst different groups. We also ask for a range of other metrics which relate to the working environment and culture, such as rates of bullying and harassment, monitoring disclosure rates, absence rates, maternity return rates, retention rates, pay gaps, and flexible working uptake. There are also some basic questions about customers, clients, service users, and consumers. Regarding the impacts questions, most organisations won't be able to answer all of them, as they are reasonably comprehensive, so please don't worry too much about this. If you cannot answer all of the questions, it is likely that many others are in the same boat as you. We believe that knowing what you don't know is also a valuable part of participation in the impact survey. We will provide support and advice if you have any questions about how to prepare the data. The question sets are available now, and we can send them to you if you have not received them already. Part 2 looks at what to do. This survey is for diversity members and paying non-members. This survey is a combination of self-assessed tick box style questions and also written answers and supporting statements. There are some Opportunity Now specific questions on equal pay and flexible working, and the community questions are for race or opportunity only. Other questions cover both campaigns. The survey comprises of various sections which are complementary to the impacts benchmark. They are leadership, so business case and strategy. How systematic are you in your approach? Recruitment. What do you do to attract and recruit diverse candidates and remove barriers? Workplace policies and practice. So how do you create an inclusive culture? Career progression. What steps do you take to remove barriers to progression into management, senior management and executive positions? Supplier diversity. So what work are you doing with minority owned and led suppliers, either directly or further down your supply chain? Diversity and inclusion in procurement. So what steps are you taking when it comes to your procurement from other organisations? Do you assess their diversity and inclusion credentials? Do you write diversity and inclusion terms into contracts, etc.? Customers, clients, consumers and service users. This section is split between service users and consumers. You only have to answer the section most relevant to your business. Globalising diversity. This is an optional section that deals with the challenges of globalising your approach to equality, diversity and inclusion. We will provide organisations who complete this section with a case study booklet and analysis of current trends and challenges, but it will not contribute to the overall score in the benchmark. As well as the greater focus on the impact of diversity and inclusion, we have made other changes. For those familiar with previous benchmark, this is a quick overview. Evidence requirements. So the focus has moved away from documentary evidence, which is time-consuming to upload and difficult to assess. Instead, we've adopted a model that focuses on supporting statements for a limited range of questions. This allows us to provide more constructive feedback and also provides us more scope to give organisations credit for the work which may not have been captured in the more closed-style questions. Time taken to complete. The changes to the structure and length of the benchmarks, as well as a significant reduction in evidence requirements, mean that we can confidently say that it takes less time to complete compared to previous years. Focus on line managers and leadership. As well as the new focus on impact measurements, the What to Do framework has been completely rewritten with a greater focus on efforts to create cultural change through inclusive leadership. People managers' capability to effectively lead multicultural and heterogeneous teams is also a consideration. Improvement in technical areas with help from outside experts. 2 technical areas in the benchmark have been rewritten with input from external subject matter experts. Sheila Wild, consultant and formerly with the Equality and Human Rights Commission, has helped develop our equal pay section. Supply Diversity Europe have helped write and structure our Supply Diversity section. These sections provide greater clarity in areas that can be of concern for diversity professionals and enable us to provide improved feedback. Alignment of Opportunity Now and Racial Opportunity benchmarks. The previous Opportunity Now and Racial Opportunity benchmarks contained similar content but differed significantly when it came to the way in which the questions are asked and how answers are assessed. To benchmark simultaneously across both ethnicity and gender is now straightforward due to the alignment of the benchmarks in terms of questions, structure and process. It is still possible to just benchmark across a single protected characteristic, however. Publishing of top 10 lists. To further recognise the work of the highest performing organisations, the top 10 private sector organisations and the top 10 public sector organisations for both Opportunity Now and Racial Opportunity will be listed on our websites and publicised through PR and social media.
Whilst we believe the new benchmarks are easier to complete than previous versions, they still require planning and commitment. The benchmarks are not light touch, they are detailed. This is absolutely necessary for them to drive business improvement. So, our tips for completing them successfully are: Number 1. Read the benchmarking guidance document thoroughly before starting the survey. You should then refer to each section individually as you work through the benchmark. Number 2. You should nominate a key point of contact to coordinate your overall submission. However, completion of the survey should be a team effort. Delegate sections to relevant teams such as recruitment, pay and reward, learning and development, procurement, as well as your employee networks to ensure you capture all relevant activity in your organisation. Number 3. Your Opportunity Now and or Race for Opportunity account manager will be on hand for support throughout the process. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to call or email your account manager, assuming the benchmarking guidance does not provide the answer, of course. Number 4. This year we are only asking you to submit 3 pieces of supporting evidence. If you are unable to submit evidence electronically and require your evidence to be in hard copy, please inform your account manager as soon as possible. There are also around 20 questions where we ask you to provide supporting statements. This is to add context and detail to your submission and helps us with assessment and feedback. Please keep your answers relevant and concise and ensure you understand the criteria for these questions. And finally, number 5. We recommend that you complete your draft submission offline using a Word document. Save your data regularly and make backups. When you are ready to submit, you should then copy and paste your responses directly into the online version of the survey.
The most valuable output for participants is their results, of course. So what will your results look like? What sort of feedback will you receive as a result of participation? On a very basic level, you will see your overall score as a percentage, the average score across all organisations, and a sector average. By itself, the score is a useful comparative indicator and is useful for celebrating achievements. Organisations are banded platinum, gold, silver and bronze. These awards give organisations an indication of where they are on the diversity journey and gives those not achieving the highest band a target to aim for. So as well as metrics and analysis of scores, we provide commentary which focuses on your responses to various questions in the survey and our overall impression. For those with lower scores, the feedback can be used as a platform for improvements. We can work with you when the feedback identifies area where future efforts should be directed. For those with very high marks, the feedback can be used at your main board or governing council and other senior levels to celebrate success and to argue for continued buy-in and commitment to diversity.
For campaign members and paying non-members, you get a 2-hour feedback meeting with an account manager. This is to put the results into context, describe relevant examples of best practice, celebrate success, and propose solutions and action plans. We recommend this meeting involves relevant stakeholders such as leadership teams, diversity and inclusion specialists, and employee networking groups. There are several benefits to doing this. Using the benchmarking feedback meeting as an opportunity to engage other interested parties means that you can generate further support for your diversity agenda. For example, if your senior champion for diversity is present at the meeting, he or she can hear directly from us on what areas need to be addressed and ensure that these issues are prioritised in the business. You can also gather more support in delivering actions, hence spread the actions agreed in the meeting to your recruitment teams, HR teams, talent and leadership, etc. Finally, the meeting is a chance for an external voice to reinforce the need for activities and changes that you have been pushing for within your organisation.
Our account managers are experts in their field and provide high quality support, guidance and advice to member companies. Some anonymous quotes from our recent membership survey. My account manager has been excellent, supportive, knowledgeable and challenging when needed. I have been thoroughly impressed. The right balance of sharing information and adding value, and very good communication skills. So for our members listening, we hope you take full advantage of your account managers. The bandings in the benchmark are private, but if you wish to disclose your banding publicly, then please do so. A certificate is sent out to all participants who achieve platinum, gold, silver or bronze. In the past, these have been put on display in offices in order to communicate your commitment to gender and race diversity to staff and visitors alike. We will help you internally promote your participation in our benchmarks. This year we are opening up the benchmarking process to non-members. The differences are explained in the following two tables. Firstly, non-members can only participate in Part 1 impacts at no charge, whereas the entire process is open to members as a benefit of membership. Non-members are welcome to participate in both parts, but there will be a cost associated with this. Secondly, the outputs differ from members and non-members only participating in Part 1. The entire benchmark, which includes the feedback meeting, the banding, the chance to be ranked in one of the top 10s, and the action planning process, are available to organisations who participate in both parts of the benchmark, whereas organisations only completing in Part 1 get the benchmarking reports with sector and overall averages for each question. We still think there is lots of value in only taking part in the first part. As it is a unique offer, no one else is really benchmarking organisations against these metrics, and the results will be revealing. For the organisations who don't currently have the resources for both parts, this is the recommended option, as baselining performance should still be done regardless of current capacity. Part 2 is for organisations who need a more complete service. This slide sets out the process and timetable for benchmarking. The questions are available now. The guidance will be ready before May the 15th, and we will update you when this is ready. Both will be on our website soon, and we will send you a copy of the questions if you have not already received or requested them. On Tuesday the 15th of May, the submission window opens. This is the point from which you may complete the survey online. To aid this, we will email all interested organisations a link to the online survey with instructions on how to log in. The survey closes on Tuesday the 24th of July, and then we will spend the next few months validating the responses so that we can start to provide feedback from late September. Throughout the process, you will be able to receive further support via the Diversity website and for answers to your questions from your account manager or myself.
Look out for an email advising when the website is live. Read through the current question sets and start gathering any data that might require you to go to other people or departments. And finally, please inform us of your intention to participate in the benchmark or contact us for further information. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact either your account manager or Tom Legg, the benchmarking manager. The details are on screen now. We look forward to hearing from you.